When my ex, 30F, was pregnant with our son, 11M, she cheated and left me for another guy. She even tried to put him on the birth certificate, which brought on DNA testing and a 3-year-long custody battle where she and her husband did everything to try and take my son from me. Because of the cheating, the attempts to prevent me being in my son's life, and many lies told, even to CPS, about me, there is no civil or co-parenting relationship between us. We always sit apart when we're at the same event for our son. We communicate only through an app assigned by the courts. We have third parties handle custody exchanges. That's just the way it has to be. 2 months ago, my ex's mother, who she has a rocky relationship with, told our son that his mom cheated on me with his stepdad. Once my son heard this, he brought it up to his mom and told her and his stepdad that he wished he didn't have to ever speak to them again. And he said his stepdad is not his stepdad anymore. He's pulled totally back from them too. My ex mentioned this via the app, and I spoke to our son when he came home with me. We share 50-50 physical custody, so I get a week and she gets a week, and we rotate it that way. Anyway, I talked to my son, and he told me that his mom and stepdad always act like his stepdad is better than me, and they'd get annoyed that he only called me dad and his stepdad by his first name. And finding out they had cheated made it so much worse, and it made him really mad. He said he never liked his stepdad, which I already had some awareness of, and he wished he'd go away now. He was upset his mom would do that and then say the stuff she does about him being a good dad to him and stuff. I told him I didn't want him to dislike or hate anyone because of me, but I wouldn't force him to like or love someone either. I asked how he'd feel about talking to someone to help him with this, and he said he'd be okay with that. So I got him signed up for therapy. He hasn't started yet. My ex quizzed our son the next time he was at her house, and she got mad at me for not lying to our son and denying the cheating. She told me it wasn't fair to use it against her when I never told him. Her mom did. And I didn't want to ruin my relationship with my son over her actions. I got one rather long message from her through the app. Then she confronted me outside my house when my son was at her house. She told me a good father would have put our son's best interest before his hurt. I don't think she's right, but I know I'm possibly too close to this to be objective, so, comment 1. NTA, you are putting your son's best interest first, by getting him a therapist that will help him deal with all the shit she, not you, put him through. Comment 2. You didn't ruin his image of her, she did. You just refused to lie to protect the illusion. Kids don't need perfect parents. They need honest ones who protect their peace without gaslighting their pain. You did right. Story 2, telling my brother-in-law he needs to book a hotel when he and my sister were staying at my house. My sister and her husband live across the country and decided they wanted to come visit. I live in a 2-bedroom 1-bathroom, and I set up a bed in my home office because they wanted to stay at my house. They had been here for 4 days. The bathroom has been a big problem. He spends hours in there. After the first day, I talked to my sister about it. She says he has a condition where he needs the bathroom a lot. So I let it rest. On day 3, it was even worse. There was a time where I had to excuse myself to go to the store so I could use the bathroom twice because he wouldn't leave. The last day I woke up at 4 a.m. and had to use the bathroom very badly. I knocked on the door and he said he'd be out in a minute. I told him I really had to go. It took him an hour to get out. The nearby store wasn't open at that time, and I had to do something I am not happy I had to do because I couldn't wait. The next morning I told him he needs to get a hotel. I can't be blocked from using the bathroom in my own home because he takes it hostage. I get he has a condition, but so do I, and I make sure I have my own bathroom when I travel so I don't get in the way of other people needing the bathroom. My sister and her brother-in-law were very upset and called me ableist. I told them what I had to do last night because he was in the bathroom for so long, and they said I could have held it. I told them they need to leave and find a hotel or stay with other family. He just can't stay here anymore. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister and brother-in-law they need to get a hotel when the plan was for them to stay with me for a week? Comment 1. NTA. If someone needs to take up that much time in the bathroom, they 100% should be getting their own accommodations so they have a private bathroom. Forcing you to go to the store is insane. If Bill really needs that much bathroom time, and not just scrolling, the sister never should have asked to stay knowing it's a one-bath house. Comment 2. I would be willing to bet his condition is he's in a hole. Every person I've ever met that needed a bathroom frequently wanted their own bathroom so they never fear someone being in there. Story 3. Asking my daughter to pay for her sister's college costs. I have 2 daughters, 25F and 18F. For my oldest daughter, I paid for around half of her total university costs. She took around $30,000 in student loans to pay for the rest. She paid off loans very aggressively and became debt-free quickly. Due to having to support my parents, we weren't able to save much for our younger daughter and had to use a lot of the money we saved for her in an emergency a year ago. But she still doesn't qualify for financial aid. So she plans to go to community college for the first 2 years, then transfer. We're still not in a great position financially, so what I decided was to ask my oldest daughter. My oldest has a pretty stable job and earns quite a lot in a pretty local area, so I asked her if she could contribute to some of the funds, considering I paid for her part of her university, which helped her become debt-free fast. She was originally hesitant at first, but then agreed to cover all the costs for the 2-year community college. This would let me save up to at least pay for some of the fees after she transfers to a state university. I have around $10,000 saved up for her. I hope to bring that number to at least 15-20K so I can pay some of her tuition when she shifts. Now, when my husband found out about this, he got mad and told me it's embarrassing to ask a 25-year-old for money and that we should have either made the youngest take out loans or tried to contribute a bit more. Comment 1, YTA. Asking your child to support your other child isn't okay. Your 25-year-old has an uphill battle against her and you're setting her back even more because of your poor planning. Oh, and your oldest became debt-free faster because she paid off her loans. She doesn't owe you anything. You caused this situation for your youngest. You get a loan and maybe take some financial lessons from your eldest. Comment 2. YTA. You've made your lack of planning her responsibility, and now your older daughter is going to sacrifice some of her best investment years to make up for your shortcomings. If you want to pay for your younger daughter's college, then pay off the loans she will need to take out. Story 4. Telling my friend I don't care that they are unemployed and about to lose everything? I am close friends with Mark, who is in his 40s. Mark lost his job 2 years ago and has not found a new one. Mark is only looking for positions that are better than his old job or the same in terms of title and pay and are within 30 minutes. Mark is out of unemployment and almost out of savings, and has been having long conversations with me the past year about losing his house and having to give up his dog. I have suggested Mark take a temporary gig in the meantime, even if it isn't as good, while he keeps looking, so he doesn't lose everything, but Mark knows his worth and won't settle. I offered to practice interviewing with Mark or help with his resume since he mentioned he's not a good interviewee, but he refused. Recently I told Mark I don't want to hear him crying to me about losing everything when he refuses to work at all in the meantime. I sympathize and I know the job market is hard, but if he took something in the meantime, he wouldn't need to worry about losing everything. Now he not talking to me. Comment 1. It's not your problem to solve. Don't offer any suggestions. Don't offer help. Just listen and nod if he starts talking about it. Or if you don't want to hear about it, then steer the conversation elsewhere when he brings it up. You're both frustrated. You don't think he's doing all he can do. He thinks he should have found the same kind of job or better by now. If you want to continue to be friends with him, leave this be. Comment 2. NTA. Enjoy the peace and quiet and don't try to initiate contact with him. When he resumes contact, be neutral, don't give advice, don't pick up the threads of any conversation that looks like he wants you to share your money or your space.